What's up, everyone? We're on here. This is the same property that we just caught the beaver in the run on the other side of the road there. This is a different landowner, but same problem, beaver problem. You can see all the damage going on here. They got multiple dams the whole way up along this part of the property. We've not even walked a quarter mile up scouting it, and we've counted what, 4 dams? Yeah, we've counted 4 dams. There's a hut they're starting to re-mud up over there on that side. We're gonna go up past it and put a couple drowning rod sets in. Right now it's very unusual here in PA. Most of this should be iced over, but we're hitting a warm spell, so that's gonna work out for us, being able to run these drowners. Right here you can see this beaver's been coming up here quite often. So this is just, also you could just blind set this. You can just put foothold here and just wait for him to come back up it again. But we're gonna try to entice them to come to it a little sooner with a Castor mound set up on there. Then we're gonna put another Castor mound set down here. And then that should have this little, this is part of one little dam here. The dam's right behind the camera there. But we're gonna go ahead and get a Castor mound set made here. Figured get a video of that. I don't think I've done a video on the Castor mound yet, or putting a drowner in. So I'm just gonna stick this out of the way. I'm gonna get all this debris out of the way here, because I'm gonna put the foothold here where he's already naturally coming up out of here. Just gonna knock some of this out. Trying to knock some of it out there. It's not the roots. Yeah, that'll give us a nice spot for a trap bed. I'm just going to smooth this down so it looks like he just came up here and made this today. This is coming around tonight back through here. There's definitely a big family of beavers living here. All these dams and multiple huts. And this landowner has been having a heck of a time. They had a little crossing bridge down the creek here. It's now down by the pipe from when they pulled the dam. It flowed down through there. So hopefully we can do a good job here and get these beavers out of here so they ain't got to deal with this anymore. I mean, it really floods this out here. The landowner got the ponds over there on that side, and this whole area ends up underwater, especially over there. You can see where the water's already dropped some from the dam being pulled out, and then up there further, we'll get a clip of that. You can really see where it was all flooded out there. Try not to set off my trap because it's a little annoying trying to set these 650s. In the water. I don't carry setters or anything for them. This is definitely well deep enough for a drowning rod set. I don't use cable or wire drowners. I just use 10-foot half-inch rebar ones. A lot of people say about carrying that around and everything else, the weight. Well, I don't think you're anticipating on how heavy the animal is you're trapping, because you're gonna have to carry him out too. He weighs a lot more than a drowning rod does, just in my opinion. Get that stuck down in the mud down in there as deep as you can get it. Right there seems like a good spot. Let me grab my stake here. Push down in, nice and tight. Make sure your lock can go down this rod nice. You don't want them to get hung up here, especially in a foothold. Now you're kind of at a disadvantage in the state of Pennsylvania for beaver trapping. Only allowed a 6.5 inch outside jaw spread. So I target front feet with a real heavy pan tension, because then if their back foot does step on that, and it is a real heavy pan tension. You would not even want to use this for coyotes. This pan tension on this, because then it'll at least get most of the front of his foot if he steps like that, of his rear foot down in there if it does end up being a rear foot catch. But I target the front foot. And I kind of make sure my traps are bedded the same way as, like predator trapping, no wobble down in here. You don't want them to step on a jaw and that trap flip up. Now I'll just block them off a little bit here with some sticks. Oh. Not rotted ones. Try to get them to just come straight over top of that trap. And I'll take right where my stake is down here, I'll take a glob of mud just to break up that T-handle there. And I'm gonna get a bunch of mud worked up here. And in my opinion, you want that Castor mound up high. You don't want it close to the water edge here. Because even if you walk around these dams and see how they do it, they come the whole way up and they smear it up there a few feet up on the bank. They don't just put them right up against the bank. Definitely want it there. Up high, so that way he has to fully commit to try to come up out of that water. Keep them from wanting to turn here and come up alongside of it. I mean, they'll mow them little sticks over. You can't really block them off as much as you think you are blocking them off. They're used to going over top of their own dams and everything else. But just gonna get some Castor here on a stick. Throw that on top there. And that's how I do my Castor mound sets. on a drowning rod. I really like using the rods. You have them forever once you make them. I just make a bunch up. You're only allowed so many traps here in PA, but I just like having them made up because some of them I do store at other people's properties for whenever I go to move onto that property, because instead of just constantly driving around with them. But run that out to where you know he's definitely going to drown. Get it down into the mud real good so he can't get that end up here. You saw all the bigger my stake was there was a little 18-inch T-bar. 24-inch work, so does the 30-inch. But this is real clay down in there, so that 18-inch will hold that top long enough. Because he's going to get caught and he's instantly going to start going down this. And he won't be able to pull that top up out once he's down there at the bottom of this. He's always going to be constantly trying to come back up. And he's not going to pull that up. And the way I stick them in there is I stick them in at an angle this way and then come down, so it kind of arcs that rod down into that water a little bit, and that helps them just shoot right down it and get dispatched down there, and especially out of sight too, instead of up here on the bank rung out on long chain or in a snare. And this water is deep enough too. What I've been doing this year too is also using snares on drowners instead of having them sit up here. You can go down that drowner and drown on that snare. But that's one Castor mound there set. Hopefully it produces a beaver. You can come in a little closer and I can show you how I'm targeting the front foot. I made a big landing pad here, and then Castor mound's way up there. He'll swim, this will kind of breast him, and then he'll start putting his feet down to walk, and you can see that's only 2-3 inches deep. And that's how I target the front foot. And yes, that is an offset trap. A lot of people are against offset traps for beaver trapping. I've not had issues with using offset traps because, like I said, already limited to 6.5-inch jaw spread. So I'm targeting that front foot, and that's how I did that. I pushed this all down, and as he swims up, his front feet will catch here, and then he'll start to put them down and start using his front feet. Because once he gets up to here, their front feet, they put the least amount of pressure on. Now they're all on their back feet, stepping around once they get up in there. So hopefully you grab the front foot first. And if not, like I said, that pan tension on that trap is well above the 5 and 6 pound range. It's more like 7 and 8. He has to fully push down on that pretty hard with his back foot. So hopefully, you know, their back feet are about as wide as my hands there on a decent sized beaver, wide as my fingertips there. So if he steps on this trap like that, he's going to get all of them in there. Even with it being offset, it holds them. We've caught plenty of beaver by the back foot with offset traps. But that's how we put in our drowning sets, Castor mounds. And then we also, if they are constantly coming up somewhere, we don't want to risk spooking a already Castor spooked beaver, because they do pick up real quick. If a trap's fired off on them, they'll ignore a Castor mound for a while. So we do put a blind spot in wherever we do find where they are constantly coming up and down the bank. We won't bother using Castor or nothing. There's no point in educating the beaver any further if you ain't gotta. And then we'll also switch to snares on blind sets coming up and out of the bank there. But we're gonna go ahead and go up here, make another Castor mound up here.